Okay, let's try the French defense. Bonya Bonya. Don't know that name. Okay, he's playing the exchange variation. Looks like a normal main line so far. Okay, he advances his pawn. I could just develop and let him take, and then I take back, and I've got maybe some play against his isolated queen's pawn. Let's try it. Or he could push, and then the locked up center should be okay for me. So he's trying to hold on to this pawn. I will defend it now. And he is kicking that knight. I guess this wins a pawn if he takes the knight, right? And he takes here. I take back, he takes. But he didn't want to win the pawn, apparently. Okay, so let's defend it. Yeah, maybe we should look at this after the game and see how I should have played that, because I think I just hung a pawn there. And he didn't bother to take it for whatever reason. So now the center's locked up, and this is all no problem. Let's get castled first. The knight here will defend my knight, so I'll move my queen to unpin. Yes, he can go there. Nothing I can do about it. It's unpinned now. Let's challenge what he's doing on the queen side a bit. Let's keep up the challenge. I'm just going to take. Gonna trade off that other rook too. Unless he brings his queen over. But then he's giving up on this battery, and I can put my knight here. Not yet. Can't yet put my knight there, but that's an idea that's coming. So it'd be nice to get a knight to this square to counteract this battery, but looks like that's not happening here. So that's an interesting move. Yeah, so he wants to push my queen back so that I can't set up this battery. Let's see if he wants to settle for a draw. Yeah, let's get the rooks off. He has walked away from this battery, so the idea of knight here is becoming more possible. Also, it's safer for me to open this up after the rooks are off, I think. My queen can penetrate. His queen can penetrate too, so works both ways. My pieces look pretty well defended, though. He could stop the trade by putting a knight there. I could still take. And then use my entrance, the queen entrance, to try and pile up pressure on the knight while hitting the loose bishop. That's if he takes back with a pawn. Okay, so he decided to give off the... give up. Okay, first of all, let's take the rooks. That's what I intended to do. Then let's take his bishop, since the queen was kind of tied down defending. Let's take here. So yeah, now I penetrate with the queen. He can come and give a check and take a pawn, but everything else is defended here, and his knight is hanging, and his bishop, after I take the knight. So I think that holds for me. Effectively, it's his queen being tied down to defense of this knight, and the knight being in kind of a pen. So knight here, bishop takes, is still something that works for him. Knight here, he doesn't take with the knight, he takes with the bishop. I take back, and then queen is still defending this knight, so it's not hanging, and he can just grab the pawn. Okay, went for the check. Oh, I missed something. I do have to block this way. But still his knight is hanging. So he comes back and defends the knight. Yeah, let's block that diagonal there. Now he's hitting this pawn. See, knight here. Knight takes, I take the bishop. Bishop takes. Take the bishop, then he takes. Still trying to figure out how to get onto that back rank there, huh? Well, for now I'll defend the pawn. And he just defends the knight here. Let's step up, get the king away from checks and pins and things like that. And I can develop my knight. Yeah, it's just hard for me to penetrate the way I want to. I could go to here, I guess. He can trade it, but he didn't. He went back. So I have that pressure on the back rank. How do I exploit that? Knight here, maybe. No. If I go knight there, then he takes my knight. Bishop here. Takes this pawn. Well, let's trade bishops, and then my queen can come to this square, which looks pretty interesting. Yeah, this is what I was going for. Is there really nothing here? Threatens mate. And then, yeah, that's kind of like a smothered mate. He probably had better defenses, but he was low on time. I think he could just keep moving his king back and forth, and he would be okay there. So there's a couple of things to look at in the analysis. Let's go back to the beginning. What was I seeing here that I just lost a pawn? Yeah, so let's, this is a normal French so far, the exchange variation. Knight's out, pawn up. This is what I don't know. Is there a good answer to here? Bishop check is a good answer here. And c6 is a good answer. Okay, well, this is logical, right? He opened up this diagonal. Why don't you take advantage of it? How would this variation go? Bishop check, knight up, and bring the other bishop out. Because if he takes, you'll take back and you're hitting this piece that is pinned. So he's got to defend it. Well, he can get a check in first. And queen. And then he unpins. And this is about an even game. And it looks interesting. Looks like I have to do something here. Bishop e6 back to defend, or bringing the knight back, because now this knight is hanging now that this knight is no longer pinned. Anyway, it's all about even. Okay, so that's something to know. So instead of playing the bishop check, I just developed. This is still fine. He developed. I defended. He brought his bishop out. Yeah, this is all about even. I kicked it. That's okay. And then this move. So this move I thought was necessary to defend the pawn. What is the idea? Say I just castle. That's the computer's idea. And he takes. Then I bring the queen out. He can take here. I can take here. He defends the knight. I can keep piling up the pressure like this. Wow. Okay, well, this is kind of way I would not think of playing. Leaving this to be taken. And I don't see, you have unclear compensation. So what else besides queen there to save this? Just c takes d5. Then he takes. I take with the queen. And then he takes with the knight. So he does just win a pawn. But apparently this is even. Check. And check. So I guess your piece activity compensates for the loss of the pawn. So the way I played it was okay, actually. It was interesting. Unbeknownst to me, it was an okay way to play. And then after that, he locked up the center. He's got an edge here. But let's go towards the end. Towards the end, I thought maybe he had some winning chances here. Oh no, it says black is just winning here. So this final pawn grab was just too greedy. So let's see, his defenses do not work. I go check, king goes here, I went here, threatening mate. I thought the king had to come back. Then I chase the king this way, king goes here. Check and pick up the queen. Okay, so that is winning. So, and if instead of taking the the pawn, right now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 1, 2, 3, 4. He's a pawn up. He has this passed pawn, and the material is otherwise even. but I have enough activity here to make it an even game. So his best defense, his only move, actually, it says, is queen e1. Defends the knight, defends the pawn over here, defends against the check here. And then I can keep piling up the pressure with queen d3. What if he grabs the pawn now? And I go knight e6. I get pawns back, I guess. So anyway, interesting game, but he made a mistake, and well, he was a little low on time. And so the critical move was, yeah, grabbing that pawn, and then it's all over from there. Interesting game. Well, let's see if we can get a 5-minute game. I mean, a rapid game. Shaya plays b4. I guess I'll go ahead and play the main line. This is always seemed a little bit weird to me, but the main line is to trade the wing pawn for the wing pawn for the e pawn. So lots of little tricks and traps in this opening. First one is you have to notice that this is hanging. Deal with that before you chase the bishop. I guess the idea is you gain a tempo chasing the bishop. Yeah, let's go ahead and develop here. Seems like he can gain a tempo chasing your bishop too. Then put a pawn in the center, our castle. Excuse me. Yeah, let's go ahead and put the d pawn up there. This is defended. Everything seems pretty secure. I can pin that knight, but do I have an easy way to exploit the pin? Not especially. This castle. Maybe put the bishop here, looking at this square. Looks like he's going to castle. There, yeah, this bishop is looking kind of funny here. I wonder, though, if I bring this bishop out, trade it off. No, I guess I can never really push that d-pawn. Yeah, let's bring it out here. Didn't want to waste tempo with a move like h6, although he can attack my bishop here. I have a couple squares. I could retreat or I could go here. Now let's lift up the queen. So the rooks are connected. I wonder if there's a way to exploit the position of the bishop there, maybe pushing this pawn. Yeah, so he just kicks my bishop back. I think bringing it here, pointing at the king side is good. Okay, so he takes this square. Yeah, I was thinking about, putting a knight on this square. So he takes that away. On the other hand, he leaves this diagonal open and this as a spot for a piece. And a backwards. It's not a backwards pawn. It's defended. Now, at this point, I think it's worthwhile investing a move to keep the bishop on this good diagonal here. And then bring the knight around. How about? Oh, he takes right away. Okay, he's going to, I'm going to take this. I was thinking of pushing the c-pawn forward already, so. Let's see. He goes there with the knight. So maybe I'm a little bit late pushing the c-pawn forward, huh? I can put the knight here now. He takes. I can take with the queen. Yeah, let's put a rook here opposite his queen. So he's invested some moves there. He can maybe put a bishop on this diagonal to harass the queen. But anyway, my idea was to play the c-pawn and to take back with the queen and gain a tempo on his queen. So yeah, he steps aside, but I'll put the queen here then. So yeah, I'm just going to open up the center. It's interesting that he's not taking his time here, but maybe now he'll start to use it. I think we're well past any kind of opening knowledge, so he really probably should have invested a little more time there. But maybe he was thinking on my time. Yeah, I'm going to go here immediately. So I'm threatening to take this with the tempo on his queen. He pins it. Okay, that's a good move. And yeah, I should have recognized that when he pushed this pawn out of the way. He opened up a possibility for his bishop when he pushed the pawn here. Let's see. So I want to defend that pawn, I guess. Well, I could just unpin the queen, huh? But then he takes the pawn. Could go here with the knight. It's a good developing move for the knight. And defends that pawn. Yeah, so right, I'm going to step aside with the queen now. Somewhere where I won't get immediately harassed. Maybe here. So then I will take this pawn is pinned, so I can win it back, I think. Even if he does that, yeah. If he takes with the queen, then if he had taken with the queen, then I would take this pawn directly like this. In this case, though, I have to exploit the pin. And his king side is looking a little weak here. My queen and my knight are maybe focused on this point, and just have to clear the bishop and his knight out of the way with tempo. See if it's possible to do. Doesn't seem like that's happening at the moment, but let's see what he comes up with in this situation. Yeah, if he puts he didn't do it. I was going to say, if he puts the bishop here, I'll have to figure out something to play. So it looks like he's happy to give me back the pawn as long as I trade bishops. I think I will grab the pawn right away. I think there's a danger of getting into a bit of trouble here. Again, if he had put the bishop here, I'm not sure I had a good square to move my queen to. If I go here, he's got knight here. And here maybe would have worked. Anyway, let's erase all of that. Stop thinking about what it is, and let's go ahead and take this. So after he takes the bishop, assuming that's what he wants to do, his queen is subject to a discovery. I could exploit that now. I could take this pawn, the queen moves, and then I take the bishop, except the queen would move to defend his bishop. So, well, but the bishop is attacked twice. He could move the queen to attack my knight. That's what he would do. Okay, we'll just play here. After I move this knight, I have to remember that this piece is hanging too. So let's step back here, reintroduce this idea. This comes with an attack on the queen now. And excuse me, now if he puts the bishop here, I have knight here, hitting the queen and hitting the bishop. And hitting this pawn. Okay, and at the moment this pawn is just hanging too. Yeah, he does play there. So I don't know if that's good. A knight here, it certainly hits the queen and the bishop and the pawn, but he has one move, which is queen here, which seems to defend everything, right? So my knight will be here attacking, even if I trade off the bishop. So I guess the simplest move here is to take this pawn. Queen moves, then take the bishop. If I take the pawn and the knight moves, then I take the bishop and keep it. So I guess this is the best move here. I mean, he can give up his queen for basically a rook and a knight, right? Queen takes rook, check. Knight takes queen, rook takes. Okay, then we get rid of this guy. Then just defend these pawns over here. So I've got a pair of passed pawns. Let's see if I can hold on to them. This could be a good, something that gives me a good winning chance. If we were to get the queens off, for example. So he goes there. I can immediately chase the queen away. He can come here with check. This knight is pinned because the rook in the corner is hanging. So let's attack that knight. And of course he can double up here. Yeah, that's what he's going to do. So we'll trade, I guess. I'll take here. And he actually can't take this pawn because of the mate threat. He noticed. Okay, so now I can defend here. what's the best way to do this? Can't defend from the side, which I'd kind of like to do. If I go here, queen takes pawn, pawn takes rook. Yeah, that works. We'll just defend here and then see how he handles it from here. I've got the check and the check. I'm covering this diagonal and maybe hoping to bring my king in a little closer to the action. Defending the rook, so he can't pull any tricks like attacking here. Let's see, I go here, queen here, I check, king here, step up a check. Goes back. Yeah, let's try this. I go here, he takes, I take, rook takes, I give him a check, and then I can put my rook in front of the pawn. Let's get my king a little closer first. So that's the kind of trick he can, he's thinking about playing. But it doesn't actually work in this case because my rook is defended. Okay, so now, oh, I'm not even giving up the pawn now. So queen here, queen here. He takes, I take, I go with check. And okay, let's see if I can win this endgame. Now, let's see, I start walking my king forward. Oh, I see, his king is... yeah, let's put it all the way down. We will keep his king from coming forward here. Check, the king goes back, the rook moves with check, the king moves, and then I queen. So yeah, he's starting his sequence of checks. And I'm just going to walk over here to help the pawn queen. If he ever doesn't check, then I have this move, followed by rook check, wherever he runs, here or here, and then queening. So I think I have managed to get a win in here. And he can keep checking me, but I'm just going to walk over to the pawn and he runs out of checks. As soon as he's out of checks, then I can do the trick. Okay, I take queen takes, but let's see, I could check here. The king comes forward. I take, rook takes. Yeah, if he takes with the king, then I'll check and promote. If he does that, then I will just defend the pawn here. So let's see. I guess it doesn't matter too much where I go. I could go all the way to here, so maybe I take a pawn if I want to. Queen. Okay, I need to defend this pawn. It's my best chance for winning, and then I need to stop these guys from promoting. Well, can I do both? How about I attack the pawn, he attacks the pawn, I take with check, he takes, and then I attack this pawn, it comes forward, and I take it. I think I can just win with the rook. That will work. He's just one step too far away to save that. And then he resigned. So let's take a quick look at that endgame in the analysis board. If we back up to about, I'm just curious, these endgames can be tricky. And so let's, going back to the beginning, I'm curious if he takes, I take, he takes. Yeah, this is just winning. Did I ever give it away? Yeah, that was giving it away. The rooks belong behind the passed pawn. I was thinking the check would drive his king further away, and then you often have this technique of trying to save the pawn, technique of promoting the way I did. But the simplest and best move, of course, is to put the rook behind the pawn. And then this is winning. Okay, well, that's good to know. So the move I played gave him drawing chances. And let's see where he gave the win to me. So yeah, it's all just a draw. Okay, well, that's good to know. Yeah, at this point, I was very confident that I was winning because I had this idea. But he can prevent it with this move. This is the one move that, this move here is the one move that saves it for him. Every other move loses. He had to play f5 right here. He checked. I think he gets another chance to play f5. Yeah, f5 all along was drawing, but he waited too late to play it. So this f5 idea was pretty clever, but he needed to play it a move or two sooner. By the time he played it, I'm actually still winning because I've gotten close enough to this pawn. And then this is just winning the rest of the way. Let's back up. For a second, it seemed to No, it's just takes it a while to calculate. Yeah, it's just winning the rest of the way. And he had no way of saving this. And he resigned. Okay, well, I thought that was a good game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will see you all next time. Bye now.